Welcome to another episode of Live with Suzi. I'm your host, Suzi, and producer of the show. We are extremely pleased once again to have our dear guest, Mr. Shane Malek, with us. Shane Malek is a financial consultant and a president of FMIS Inc. The website is www.fmisinc.com, and also the toll-free number 1-800-477-1556. For those of you who may be just listening to this conversation for the first time, I must add we have started a series about maybe a couple of months ago, maybe more so. And today we are offering you our episode number 17, believe it or not. And I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to other parts that Mr. Malek has started with us, mainly focusing about different retirement plans that may suit different individuals. And there are really important information that I wouldn't want any of you listeners to miss out. So if you like to check back on other shows we've had in the past, definitely either check the website, fmisinc.com, or you can check Live with Suzi's social media sites, podcasts, YouTube channels, and listen to all the shows so far we've had. And of course, today we're happy to introduce number 17 of those episodes. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our guest, Mr. Shane Malek, once again. Happy to have you.
Thank you, and good afternoon to you. Thank you for the nice intro. Always good to be with you, and I truly enjoy these. Thank you.
Thank you so much for choosing our platform and talk to our viewership, listenership, and involving us and teaching us and giving us more information and letting us have the knowledge about the world of finance, in particular retirements, which obviously we all get into that age sooner or later, and it's important to know what steps to take beforehand so it doesn't kind of come as a shock to us and as a surprise, yet we are prepared and know how to handle it when we reach that stage of our life. So it's very important.
Absolutely correct. Yes, it's good to always be knowledgeable about it as to whether or not it's used or not. I mean, so it's something that, like you said, is around the corner for all of us sooner or later. So we need to be a little bit more informed and understand our options and things that are available to us. And of course, what sort of lifestyle we're choosing to have and continue, if it's the kind of lifestyle that you want to be using as you are today when working. So it takes a little bit of more effort to make sure that you can continue doing so without really having to work. And it's really
on
not
that note, Mr. Malek, let me interject here that I heard you're going to share some very exciting news with us, and I'd like to thank you for putting up a seminar coming up in the near future. And tell us about it, so I'm sure people would be excited to know more in detail when, how, and why you're putting these seminars that I'm sure are going to be very useful for all of us.
Yeah, we were doing those seminars kind of like bi-weekly, depending on the situation and the time. But we used to do that quite frequently. Quite regularly, actually, and until the COVID hit, and then the whole system shut down. So yes, we back up. I can give you around the date. I'll give you that exact date maybe next time. But
sure.
Around mid, I think November, we'll be having our first ones, and then the one after that, because of the Christmas holidays and all that, will be in January, mid-January. So the first one would be in November. Mm-hmm. What we do normally, we have a very, very nice restaurant or a nice hotel in town. And we bring in, a few people. I'm talking about 40, 50 people here, and we present our different ways of being able to manage your retirement, the products that are available in the industry, and how to utilize them, and how to make the best of what you have, and how you can kind of expedite reaching your goals pretty much when it comes to retirement. So there's various ways of doing this. Obviously, it all depends on your every individual's unique situation. So based on that, we talk about all these available options. And then it's kind of like a one-on-one in a way. People ask questions and participate in that. And then obviously you get to know a lot. And then in my opinion, you don't really necessarily have to be just that in that age to be able to do these kind of things. But once you do come to these kind of seminars, you realize and you see other people's situations. People talk about it. We'll talk about individual cases as well sometime. And then it kind of enlightens the different ways of being approached by this retirement situation. So it's not as easy, and I deal with it daily. It's not a very easy things to sort of jump into. I mean, if there are no, in most cases, if people have pensions, it's easy, but 95% of the cases these days, there are no pensions. So you're going to be jumping into a different arena without any work. So you have to be prepared as to what to do that. Now, one of the things that I want to emphasize today, actually, and we kind of elaborate on that a bit more when it comes to our seminars, is that when you invest money, there are different ways of approaching that, particularly if the purpose is retirement and depending on where you are in life, financially speaking. So, there are sometimes if the goal, if the focus of investment is to have income for retirement, there are products that actually provide that. There are products that will give you a sort of income that you can never basically outlive. So meaning that no matter how old and what age, what amount of money, there's always some amount that you can receive yearly for the rest of your life without any interruptions. And so you have that comfort and understanding that you would have that. Or some people might say that, I may have enough income, but I'd like to have maximum growth without much of risk factor in there. So there are products that you can use that really will give you higher earnings per se, or percentage wise. You can get higher amount of earnings without really having to worry about much of the stock market risk, even though there's some involved, but without much of that, and yet know that you can easily earn 7, 8, 9% without have any risk factor, pretty much. I know it sounds too sort of good to be true, is it far-fetched, but it's really not. I mean, once you learn how these things work and you realize that it's very attainable, reachable, and easy to sort of have this kind of investments. But regardless, more importantly, I think by understanding how all of that work and then attending these places, and I encourage your guests to come in as my guests and just sit and just listen and just have a nice dinner with us. That's all I'm asking. And then I'm sure everyone will learn something there.
I'm sure. Well, because well, I at least can vouch for it because I used to come to your seminars. And
you
I
used
was
to,
there.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I certainly can vouch for it because we certainly learn a lot, if nothing else. I mean, and obviously we all need to know more about the world of finance, about retirement, and it's never enough. We're always hungry for more knowledge, more understanding of what's going on, and I'm sure things change also at some point, and it's not all the same. All the products are coming out to the market that you can introduce to your clients don't always stay the same. So I'm sure you're getting new products, new information. So I think it would be totally useful to join in and enjoy not only a nice dinner, but really learn a lot about the options, what we can do and we cannot do. And as you mentioned, so rightly so, Shane, that one doesn't have to be necessarily very close to a retirement age or at the retirement age. People can come at younger age and be prepared. And more power to them even. If I had the knowledge as I do now, back 20 years ago, I would have been in a much better place.
Yeah, education, it's always good to, comes handy to sort of educate yourself about these things, especially when it comes to the world of finances. It's could be quite difficult sometimes, but yes, absolutely, you're right. And we make it as simple as possible. It's nothing complex, very easy to understand all of these. And you'll enjoy that. You've been to some of these.
Oh, I definitely have, and I can't wait. I got so excited and happy and honored that you actually talk about it on this platform and letting people know about it. And of course, once the date is set, as Mr. Malek mentioned earlier in this conversation, we will definitely let you guys know so you can book your seats, because again, it's not going to be a huge amount of people to come. It's a very cozy place with maybe 40, 50 people, which is even better during this COVID and pandemic. It's nice and safe. And then you can get a chance of talking to Mr. Malek and have a one-on-one conversation, questions that I've noticed he's very patient and he can sit and talk to you in great detail like he has in the past. So on that note, we appreciate that. Now, I just want to have a quick touch on what you mentioned about growth for your money versus generating income as a focus of your investment. Is there any amount that one would require as a minimum in order to get into products that you have mentioned, or anyone with any kind of money that can?
Well, no, any kind of money. I mean, when I say any kind of money, I mean, there depends. There are things that need to start with 50,000. There's some accounts that you need to have at least 25,000. There's some that you need to have a little larger than that. However, typically for every age and every amount of investment, there's always something to do. But in general, with all of these, you can express your concern, and by that I can definitely provide something that would furnish that for you. And this is that's the promise. I mean, regardless of, there are products that can give you an X amount of interest rate, and there are products for different reasons that give you X amount of different interest rates. But in general, the answer is yes. We can always, with any kind of investment, provide something that would show you maybe I can easily say, quite a few times more than what general sort of saving accounts and, things like CDs. You can earn 8 times more, 9 times more than what a CD pays you.
Great to know.
Yeah, so these are very simple. There's nothing fishy about it. These are all here in the United States. So it's interesting to learn things you can do here. Yes.
Thank you. On that note, we would thank you once again, Mr. Malek, for being with us and being our dear guest on Live with Suzi show and program. And please, everyone, go check out the other episodes we've had with Mr. Malek on www.FMISINC.com, which is his website, and or also call the toll-free 1-800-477-1556 to ask questions, make appointment to see Mr. Malek, and we can't wait to find out more details about the upcoming seminars and announce those on our next show. Until 2 weeks' time, we wish you all the very best, and thanks again.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you.
Absolutely.